Hey, welcome. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's reading is the person on your mind. What are they thinking about you? All right, so you've got four groups for you to choose from. Group 1, 2, 3, and 4. Feel free to pause the video if you need a moment to choose your group, but I will see you guys in your readings. Welcome. If you've chosen the first group, then this reading could be for you, the person on your mind. What are they thinking about you, about the situation at the moment, all right? Okay, so they do think that they need to be honest with you. They could feel like they need to be more genuine about something that they feel they've been dishonest about or not upfront about. It could be about anything. It could be something you're aware of. For some of you, it could be about their work. It could be about an activity, like an event, someone else. It could be about a responsibility, or again, like something you are more aware of. They do think you're feeling lonely. They do think you're feeling vulnerable at the moment. They could think you're feeling vulnerable in general, not only, concerning them. And they feel that you are slowly withdrawing. And again, that could be related to them. It might not be, it could be in general, but they also think you're taking, a step back from other things and people, and that you aren't really up for, socializing. They do think you're not feeling fulfilled. They think you don't care or you don't notice, that you're being left out or when you're being left out. They could think you're in your own little world at the moment, and or they feel that you are intentionally, excluding yourself and, maybe keeping to yourself. This may not be all the time. It could just be, certain times. But at the moment, they feel that you don't really care how people perceive you. They feel that you don't care if you're being judged, if you're being talked about. And again, like this could be in certain environments. It may not be in general. It could be like a certain group of people or in a certain environment. You don't really care. For some of you, it could be in general as well, that you don't really, kind of care how people see you. But yeah, at the moment, they could feel that you aren't paying attention, that you kind of seem, away with the fairies almost. They could think that you aren't present with them, or they think you aren't being present with other people. But it's not that they don't think you're present in general, though. But yeah, they do think you're tired. They do think you're drained. They think that you want a break, that you want to, have some fun, get away. Maybe from a certain environment, maybe from, responsibilities or other things that could be, draining you. Like they don't feel that you feel like they don't think that you seem stressed in like this chaotic kind of way, but just like more aloof, more like you seem kind of strung out in their opinion. They do think that you want help, they think you want support and love, and they do think you have help around you, but they don't feel that you have the support you need, or you think that you don't have the support you need. They could feel that the people around you can't or don't meet your needs, like and they do think you might reject them. They think you might reject something that they have to say. They could also think you're hiding something from them, but they don't think you're, dishonest or you're lying, just that you're maybe keeping something to yourself at the moment. And they don't really kind of see you as like wanting to, I don't know, they don't see you as like they don't think that you have things that you need to hide, but there's things that you want to, maybe keep to yourself at the moment. But they don't see you as like a dishonest person. They could think you're just a little mysterious and laid back, and that you're not going to be, super upfront and throw things on the table when it comes to certain things. But they also feel that if they ask you the right questions, then they would be able to know more about you, about how you feel, about something you could be going through. For some of you, actually, they could feel that you are hiding how you feel about them. They could think you want more freedom. They could feel that you want to be able to spend more time alone. And they could feel that you don't really get the chance to do that. For some of you here, like they could think you're more likely to abandon them. They do think you are pretty straightforward with them for the most part, and they do think that they need to do the same with you. They could also think that you see them as not having enough interest in you, but they kind of feel that you're, brushing it off, not making a big deal out of it. They do think you are losing interest in them or just losing energy for them. And they also think that you see them as being flirtatious with other people, maybe someone in particular. And they could feel that you do have a problem with it. Not that they feel that you'll be vocal about it, but they could feel that they, can tell that you're annoyed by it. Maybe some of you have been vocal about it. But at the moment, they do think you're feeling hurt, maybe a little heartbroken by them, or they feel that it could end up going in that direction, or they could end up hurting you. And, they do think you have been a bit more passive towards them, or that you're letting things be and not really putting up a fight. Like for some of you, they could think you're letting go of the struggle regarding them. It could be about something else as well. But they do think you are trying to be more realistic. They think that you aren't really falling for their charm or their elusiveness in a way. They think you will eventually become, less reliable and helpful to them because they think that you think they aren't serious about you. So, they do feel that you will eventually pull away because of that. And so, yeah, they do think you used to be more about them. They even feel that you used to be maybe more obsessed with them, more interested, invested in them. But they think that the attraction you did have with them is kind of like maybe dwindling on your part. Like they could think that honeymoon phase is over for you. So they also think that you see them as saying things they don't mean, not keeping their promises, or will end up not keeping their promises to you. They think that you think they will eventually let you down, you know? Like they do feel that you are seeing them as unreliable, and and because of that, they do feel that you won't be easy to convince, or influence, or maybe talk their way out of something, or talk their way into something. So like they do think you want something more serious, or they think you want them to show up in a more serious way. But right now, they're not sure if they can give you that. They do think you assume their feelings are up and down, that their feelings for you change often, that it's hot and cold, that they're in and out, that they don't really know what they want. But despite that, they do think you are still quite cool, calm, stable, and grounded. And they also think that you are showing them, whether that be intentionally, but they think that you are showing them that they can't, get to you. And they do think you are setting higher expectations for yourself, maybe when it comes to them, or when it comes to relationships in, particular. And yeah, they also think you're quite unique. Um, and for some of you, they may also feel that they might be too conventional for you, whatever that might mean for you guys. But yeah, that's all I have though for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful and make sense. And I'm wishing you the best, okay? Take care. Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the second group, then this reading could be for you, the person on your mind. What are they thinking about you or the situation at the moment? All right. Okay, so it feels like they do think you're opening up to them a bit more. That you're sorry. That you're coming out of your shell. Or they could feel like they're kind of seeing you more, like seeing you, And they could also feel that you have been more direct recently. They do think you are someone that tends to take initiative in your own life, but they do feel that you are doing that more with them as well, or in the environment that you guys share. Or they feel that it's heading in that way, and that you will be able to maybe interact with them more, or take more initiative when it comes to them. Be more vocal. But yeah, it feels like they think you're funny. They think you're outgoing. It feels like they saw it before, but they're seeing it more now, and they like it. They think that you're sure of yourself. They feel that you're confident, and they do think that it will be nice to be around you more, or that they just feel like it's nice to be around you already if you guys have that sort of connection. But yeah, they do think you like to have a good time. They think you're pretty chill, that you're quite down to earth as well. And it feels like some of you may not know them that well, maybe vice versa, but it feels like they are assuming that you are, good people, and they do think you're more on the playful side, but they also imagine you are very serious when you need to be. They do think you're generous, and they think you're hardworking, and they think you're responsible. they do feel that you come from a good family, or again, like they just think like you're a good person, like, regardless of whether you came from, a good family, or, have a good background, they feel like, whatever life circumstances or, upbringing you had, it kind of made you the person who you are today. And, regardless of whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, but they do feel like it's made you this very like it's made you a good person in their eyes, basically. But yeah, so they could think that you come from a good family, whether that's true or not. They could feel that you just have good people around you, and they do think that your choice of company says a lot about you, and it feels like it makes them view you in a more positive light, because of the company that you keep. And yeah. So they also think you're energetic, they love your energy, they feel your energy as well, and they feel livelier around you, like, or they feel that they would feel, more, not energetic, but just more like alive around you. They also think that your energy is quite infectious, like your laugh could be infectious, your smile could be infectious, your good mood, good energy could be quite infectious. Um, but they don't think you're like on 100 all the time. They also think take the time to rest, that take this time to woosah every now and again, that, you do have, even though they could view you as quite outgoing, they do feel like there are parts of you that's quite chilled out too. Um, like they don't think you're someone that's overly, positive. They actually feel that you're quite balanced between the two. But they do feel quite positive when they're in your company, and they also see you as someone that rarely lets things get to them, you know? They feel like you rarely let things stress you out. They could also think you help other people manage their stress, or a specific person. They could feel that you help ground someone, or again, like they could feel that your energy is quite grounding in general. So they also think that you're non-judgmental. They do feel that you are very accepting and open-minded. They could think that people often come to you for support. They think that, you aren't someone that is materialistic. They think that you don't care too much about appearances. They could feel that you don't really care too much about self-care either. Um, they think that you are social, but they feel that you also appreciate time alone. So they can also feel that you do prefer to do things like yourself. Um, like they could think you have the mindset, if you want it done properly, then you need to do it yourself. So even if that's not true, but they kind of get the impression that you may not like people helping you, and again, like that could be for other reasons. Um, But yeah, they also think that you are someone that rarely succumbs to pressure. They feel that you aren't easily influenced. They also think I think I may have said this, but they feel like you do well under pressure, that you can handle a lot of different things at once. Like they do view you as someone that's very resilient. So they do think you're protective, like they could feel like you have this natural protective energy to you. This could be in general, could be towards them, it could be towards someone, specific in your life, or, certain people in your life. But they also feel that you need protection as well. They assume that you think you don't need, that protection from other people, or yeah, and so for some of you, for some reason, they could think that they are in competition with you. This could be, a reason that you could be aware of. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. But yeah, for some reason, they could feel that they are in competition with you. I don't know if it doesn't necessarily feel like they think you're in competition with them also. So this could be more on their part. But yeah, so they do think you can be defensive, or you have no problem being defensive when you need to be. And it feels like on some level, like this could be what this competitive energy is about, but on some level, they feel that they want to challenge you. They could think it would be fun or it would be interesting. Um, so yeah, I don't know if this is them like trying to build like a deeper connection with you, or just kind of like dig more into your layers and see what you're about. But for some reason, they could want to challenge you a little bit. It doesn't really feel like it's in a push your buttons kind of way. Like they want to annoy you. It doesn't really seem like that. It could be something else. So even though they do think you're quite chill, they also assume you can be quite intense. So for some of you here, like they could feel that you are under scrutiny in some area of your life, or some part of your life is under a magnifying glass, or is on display. So if this is someone that doesn't know you all that well yet, they could think you're in a relationship. They could believe your interest is on someone else, not them. If you're asking about that kind of connection. For some of you, they do think you're too afraid to talk to them. Could be in general, it could be about something specific. So they also think you don't like being let down and disappointed. And that could go back to them thinking that you don't want help, maybe because they're assuming that you don't want to be let down, so you prefer to do certain things yourself. So for some of you, they could think you heard bad news recently, and they do assume you're trying to work through, whatever it is that you've heard. So they also imagine that you would be good at keeping secrets. So they could also think you can be sarcastic at times. Even though they do feel um, like you're quite nice and good people, they also think that there are times that you can come across harsh and cold. They don't think it's intentional. That could just be you being direct, but sometimes it maybe comes across that way. And for some of you, okay, please only take this if it makes sense. But they could get player vibes from you, because they could see you as quite flirty and seductive as well. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best, okay? Take care. Bye. Hey, I hope you guys are doing good. If you've chosen the third group, then this reading could be for you. What are they thinking about you at the moment? Okay, so we have Nine of Pentacles upright, the Page of Pentacles upright, and the Emperor upright. This energy feels good, it feels strong. So let's see. So it feels like they could actually think you are quite strong. There's like this energy of you maybe they either think you're already established, or they definitely think you're headed in that direction. They could think that's something that you are, focused on. Like at the moment, they do think you're comfortable. They could feel that you are like sitting pretty, that you don't really have a lot to worry about. They don't think you're selfish at all, but they do think you're self-focused. You put yourself first, that you're kind of like looking out for number one, and even if that's not true, but just from their perspective. And for some of you, that might not be true at all. Like there could be certain people that you put before yourself, or, or what have you. And for some of you, it could be specifically related to them, that you're kind of putting yourself first, before this person that you're asking about. But yeah, they think that you're very smart and strategic. They think that you just know things, Um, for some of you, they could get psychic vibes from you. So yeah, they could think you just know things. For some of you, they could feel that a lot of things just come natural to you. They do think you're easygoing. They feel like you're chilled, laid back, kind. They think that you're generous. Not with everyone though. They definitely feel you're selective with who you're generous with. They also get the feeling that you don't really fit in anywhere, or that's just how they're perceiving you. Or that it's kind of hard to kind of fit you into a box. And they kind of think you're just doing you. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. They kind of just feel like overall you're just doing you. And they do think on some level that you want people you can connect with, like people who are on your wavelength. But they feel like maybe you haven't really found that yet. So they do think you guys might be very different from each other. They think that time will tell whether that's a good thing or not. But at the moment, they seem a bit indifferent towards any differences that you guys do have. They don't think they should jump to any conclusions about you. So, they do think you're calm, and they do think that they, could feel calm around you, or they do feel calm around you. Like they do think you have an energy that naturally grounds people. And if this is someone that doesn't know you all that well, they could assume you're single. They could think that you prefer it that way. They just think that you have this kind of subtle, soft, sexy, like energy to you, this gentleness to you as well. This is random, but they could also think you care about the environment, or you love nature, maybe you like to be out in nature, or that you're kind of just very natural, something about you is very natural. But they also think you're, quite respectable. They think you're mature, honest, wise. And for the majority of you, they actually think you're quite quirky as well. They also think you have a side to you that is very playful. But they also do think you have a side to you that's stubborn, straightforward, blunt, and strict, maybe even a little aggressive, but they kind of like that duality, you know? So they could also think you have a good job or career, or they think that you have options. So this person, they don't think you're arrogant, but they do think you put yourself on a pedestal. Like they could think you have high expectations for yourself, you know, maybe for the people around you. And, you know, they do think that you set yourself apart. And again, like they may not even think that you set yourself apart intentionally, but they feel that because, you know, in their perspective, they think that, you know, you, like it's not easy for you. Not that it's not easy for you to connect with people. They do feel like it is easy for you to connect with people, but like kind of on a genuine level. So because of that, they do feel that you know, set yourself apart, or that, you know, it naturally occurs that you set yourself apart. But you know, they also feel that you set yourself apart in a way where you know your worth, you know. So they also think you are a grateful person, grateful for what you have, and they also think you appreciate the people in your life, the people around you. So they also think that you guys could have a healthy relationship. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship that will be, like friendship, work relationship, romantic situation. But they do feel like there is a potential for you guys to have a healthy bond. So they also kind of get the impression that you're always learning something new. They think that you would be a good teacher, a good leader. They do think on some level you are a perfectionist, or you just pay attention to the details. They could think you enjoy art, or they could feel that you are an artist. So they also think that you have a possessive side to you, but overall, like they see you as a healthy person. Like they don't feel that you are a toxic person, or have, you know, toxic traits or tendencies. They also think that you do have a lot of discipline. Um, you know, they do think you're still slowly building yourself up. And they do think, like, in terms of a relationship, for some of you, if you are single, they could think you want someone that's stronger than you, maybe someone that can, you know, protect you. So they could also think that you want to be well off, that you're kind of headed in that direction. They could think that you like want to have a good social standing. For some of you, they could think you want, you know, power in some way as well. Like overall, like they just think you do want a secure position in life, you know. But anyways, that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best, right? Please take care. Bye. Okay, hello, welcome. If you've chosen the fourth group, then this reading could be for you, the person on your mind. What are they thinking about you at the moment? Okay, so we have the Hanged Man in reverse, we have the Ten of Swords upright, and the Moon upright. So the person that you're asking about, they could think you're becoming impatient with them, or you are impatient with them. They think that you don't want to make any more sacrifices for them, or that you don't want to keep making the first move, being the one to take initiative, to being the one to maybe reach out to them or something along those lines. Like, but they don't think you want to be the one that's like the driving force behind the connection that you have with them. And they could feel that you are growing impatient with them because of some of those things. And and they feel that, like, they're thinking that the more you decide you're not making an effort with them, they're making a decision not to make an effort with you. So yeah. So it feels like they kind of want to match your energy and match your intentions, even if you have like a reason for acting a certain way or whatnot. But yeah, they do think you are looking at them differently and not really wanting to make an effort with them. Moving forward, they do think that they need to act more on impulse with you. They think that they need to stop overthinking, but they do think they need to change their approach to you overall. For some of you, they think they shouldn't have pushed you to one side or made you feel like you were pushed to one side. If at some point in your relationship or connection, like if at any point it was one sided, they regret that too. Or they feel that they should have spoken about things when they happened, that they shouldn't have avoided, confrontations. This doesn't have to be like an aggressive thing, but it could be that they feel that they shouldn't have avoided, speaking to you. So they think that you didn't, or you don't understand that they are limited and restricted in what they can do at times, maybe specifically related to you, maybe spending time with you, with what they say to you. They think that you don't understand their life and the things that, they have going on, or certain things that they're going through. And you don't understand that they are, feeling trapped, or that they are trapped and restricted. So and they feel like you don't get that. That is why they can't really meet you where you want to be met when it comes to your relationship and connection with them. So it feels like they feel that you don't understand that even though they want to move their relationship with you forward, it's difficult, due to other circumstances. Like, they do think you want more from them, maybe more of a commitment. This could be something you are more aware of. For some of you, they think that you want them to make you a promise. Like, they feel that there are certain issues that you are not avoiding anymore. Like, you won't allow them to avoid those issues anymore. But they also feel that you aren't listening to them, what they think and what they have to say. Even though they feel that you are less likely to avoid certain issues, they do feel like there are other things that you both are avoiding. So another thing they've been thinking about is that they don't constantly bring up the mistakes that you've made. And for some reason, they could be thinking about these mistakes. For some of you, it's because so they could be thinking about your mistakes because they feel that you should give them a pass or you should be more understanding because of some of the mistakes that you've made. So they also think that neither of you should wait for the other. They feel that you both should end a conflict as well. So they could also think that you're both avoiding changes in your personal lives. So maybe they think that you're not wanting to avoid issues when it comes to your relationship with them, but when it comes to like other things in your life, they could feel like you're avoiding other issues and stuff going on in your life, personal things not related to your connection. So for some of you here, like they do think you need to make a sacrifice for them or continue making a sacrifice for them. They do think you are in a negative mindset regarding your relationship with them. Like they do feel that you are trying to overcome a feeling of hurt. For some of you here, like they could also think you're trying to avoid hurting someone else. But they do think you're feeling exhausted by them and other things going on. They feel that so they think that you aren't feeling nurtured or supported. On some level, like they could think that you've both, kind of hit rock bottom or your relationship has, or like mentally, So they also feel that you both need to let go of the past, maybe make amends. So they do think you're, feeling disappointed, but they also think that you guys can change that. Um, but they do feel that you need to be willing to change that. And they could feel that you aren't really in the right headspace for that right now to kind of like get over any disappointments or, um, kind of like put it to one side for whatever reason. For some of you here, like they do think you are trying to use the power you have over them. And for some of you, they could think that you might end up doing something to betray their trust. Like they don't think you already have, but they do feel that, there's potential for it to go in that direction. Like they could think that they shouldn't or they shouldn't have confided in you about certain things, and or they feel like they shouldn't in the future just in case you hold it against them. Like they do think you are very intuitive. They also think you have a lot of fears regarding them at the moment, and there's a part of them that feels like you may react based on those fears that you may have. Or they feel that you might have a reaction to maybe kind of not getting the outcome that you want with them. And for some of you, like they do think they're getting or seeing some red flags from you, and that they shouldn't trust you wholeheartedly. They do think that they should be worried about you, maybe worried about some of your intentions. They do feel that not all of your intentions are as pure as they seem. And finally, like they do think you're creative and they do think you are good with your hands. But anyways, that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you guys the best. Okay, take care. Bye.